Hello and welcome to Burlesque Gateway's Burly Summer Camp 2026. Here's one I made earlier. Paper plate fans tutorial. So I am your naughty professor, Eilidh, here to teach you how to make these paper plate and tissue paper or napkin feathers fans. So what you need is 2 paper plates, 14 paper straws, 1 pack of paper napkins and or several packs of tissue paper in various colours or the same colour if you want, and 1 bottle of PVA glue. I use clear, you can just use regular PVA glue, there's no rules. They both dry clear, it's fine. So that's it for materials. And then you'll also need tools. A glue pot or a palette or a plate. I used the lid of a sweetie tub, but you need a surface or something to contain glue. You need a glue spreader. I used one of the plastic school spreaders because I bought myself a pack of them, but you can legitimately just use a bit of cardboard to spread glue and that works and it's fine. You need 1 pack of put my teeth in. 1 pack of clothes pegs. You need 1 silicone craft mat and or a towel or a bunch of plastic bags like bin bags or some newspaper. I would say newspaper is underneath silicone mat or underneath plastic bags. It's not on top because it'll get stuck to the fan, or a plastic tablecloth or disposable party tablecloth, just something to protect your surfaces with. You also might want more than 1 silicone mat to set things aside on, and because they do tend to come in packs, but it's up to you and it depends what your space is. You'll need kitchen or craft scissors. Never use your fabric scissors for this. A ruler, pen or a pencil, and then space-wise, you need a table or a countertop, and optionally a seat or stool, whatever works for you. I did this sitting on my bed with my little over the bed tray table, but you can do it at your kitchen table. You can do it standing at your kitchen counter if you have a standing desk and you feel more comfortable doing it that way. Go for it. That's fine. Optionally, if you want to decorate your fans, and you don't have to, you can just leave them raw and ready. You want paint and brushes or some acrylic markers or other pens, just something that will spread colour. You can use crayons, whatever. And you might want sequins or some other decorative bits and bobs. It's really up to you. You also need some time set aside. Around 3 to 7 days this will take approximately, mostly for the drying time. It can take more or less time depending on how many hours you have a day to dedicate to it. It's a great activity to do while watching a movie after your dinner in the evening, so that might take you about a week. Or if you're away on holiday with friends or family and need something to do as a group for, let's say, a long weekend hen do, or on a rainy holiday to a log cabin where it pours every day and you can't get outdoors. Then you'll only really need 3 or 4 days because you've got more time to spend on it. I took 5 days because I need to take things slow to manage my energy well, and because I was doing some things out of order so I could demonstrate how to troubleshoot them for you, which takes longer, and shifting between making paper napkin versus tissue paper feathers takes a little bit longer than just batch making one type of feathers where you just get in the zone and do it. And then cost-wise, for me, this was a free project as I already had all the tools and supplies. If you have all the tools but need to buy the materials, it's roughly £10 from a supermarket pound or nickel and dime store, or places like Home Bargains, B&M, or The Range. Other stores are available. If you need to buy the tools, it's maybe more like £20 to £30 ish, but you can get many of them secondhand on Vinted or eBay or at car boot sales and in charity shops or thrift stores too. But I kind of designed this with the assumption that you're going to have most of these things kicking about your house already. Okay, How to make your paper plate fans stage by stage. So stage 1 is prepare your tools and materials from the what you need checklist. That might take you a couple of days to do if you need to buy things or find them hidden around your house or in your craft stash. Stage 2, set up your space. Clear off your work surface to make room to create your fans. Then protect your surfaces with your towel and silicone mat, which is what I used, or your newspaper with plastic bags, or if you've got a white clean tablecloth, put that down. You might have to do this a couple of times if you don't have a space that you can just leave set up. I had to set it up every time I was working on the fans, but you might be lucky and have a studio space that you can just lay it out and leave it. It really depends. So stage 3, kind of option 1, is first we're going to make the feathers. I decided to make 7 feathers per plate for 14 feathers in total, but you could make more or less as desired. Maybe you got smaller plates than I do, maybe you got bigger plates, maybe you want them to be more fluffy and layered, whatever. There's loads of options, but this just shows you how to do it. So decide how many tissue paper and how many paper napkin feathers you want. It can be a mixture like mine are, or all one material. It's really your choice. For paper napkin feathers, we're going to start with them. Unfold them halfway so that not all 4 squares are visible, just the 2. Then spread your glue over the whole surface of one side. Then place a paper straw diagonally across the middle of one sheet, ideally with the still folded end of the napkin at the bottom, but it's not totally necessary. Then fold over the other side and gently press down with your fingers. Then lay the feather blank aside to dry on another silicone mat or some plastic bags, something that it won't stick to easily. Then repeat the process until you have enough of the paper napkin feather blanks for your fans. I decided on 6 because I wanted 3 per fan. And then leave them to dry for 24 hours. We're still in stage 3, but now we're on tissue paper. So for the tissue paper fans, feathers, first unfold your sheets and cut them up into rectangles. I've made them different sizes because I was using up randomly sized sheets of recycled tissue paper that I already had and experimenting with different numbers of layers, but you can make them all the same size if you want. You're going to want between 8 and 14 rectangles per feather. Roughly, the more you use, the thicker your feathers, basically. If you've made them all different sizes, then cut them into rough leaf shapes before you're gluing them. If you've made them the same size, you can do that later. Really is up to you. There's no right or wrong order, just whatever you're doing, whatever your choice is, and whatever materials you have. Either way, decide on your colour combination and pattern, then divide the pre-cut sheets into piles. It's okay for them to all be the same colour. I was just using up scraps for my set, or they can be even more colourful than mine if you want to make rainbow feathers. But something to be aware of, though, with tissue paper and glue is colour bleed from the dye. I did this on purpose to show you what I mean by putting a light yellow over a dark green layer, but green, red and black, especially any dark or deep colours, they will transfer dye and bleed through onto lighter layers, and your fingers. I end up with green fingers when wet. So be mindful of that when deciding on your colour combos, or hide it with paint and sequins later. Then after that, spread glue onto your paper straw before placing it in the middle of your first sheet. Turn it over and place a second sheet on the other side, then press down gently with your fingers. Then spread more glue along the middle and repeat the process, just popping the sheet on, flipping it over, spreading glue, popping the sheet on, flipping it over, just keep going until you have 4 to 7 or more layers on either side of your feather. Lay it to the side on your spare silicone mats or plastic bag or tablecloth, and then just repeat that until you have enough feathers. I did 8 because I wanted 4 per fan. And then leave it to dry for 24 hours. Moving on to stage 4, now after leaving them to dry for 24 hours, come back and either just eyeball your feather blanks, just cut them out as you see fit. I kind of did that. I did both. Or lightly draw a rough leaf shape onto them if you haven't cut them out already. I had already cut out the tissue paper and I just eyeballed those. I folded the tissue in half and then cut the leaf shape in them because that's what works for me, and I did a few layers at a time, but do it one by one if that's better. Or like I did with the paper napkins, I did lightly draw it on so I could see where I was cutting the shape. So if you want to decorate your feathers more with paint or pens, I would do that now. I chose to use gold and silver paint pens because I had them left over from another project, but you can use paint or any other type of pen that works for you. It's a good idea to test it on some spare tissue paper or a leftover napkin though, to see how it works and if it'll bleed through before drawing on your feather blanks. So then leave them to dry for the time specified on the paint or pens. It's usually about 30 minutes to 2 hours, but some of them can be up to 24. You may want to put them aside and work on stage 5 while they dry, or just leave them on your workspace and go do something else for a bit. Then if you don't want to decorate them, that's okay. Just skip that instruction and just cut out a rough leaf shape using your scissors. If you did, then after they've dried, cut out your rough leaf shape. Now, once you've got that, and I held on to the straw that was poking out of the end, cut diagonally into the edges all around your feathers, so make them as thin as you can. Go back in and do it a few times. Going back in to cut them down repeatedly, but be aware that with the tissue paper feathers there'll be more mess than the napkins. You get lots of little bits of tissue paper confetti over your area. You'll need to vacuum them or sweep them up the mess before moving on, then set them aside. They're done, unless you want to decorate more, put sequins on them or something, but that's all optional. Stage 5, now it's time to get your paper plates out. You can do this at any point in the process while waiting for your feathers to dry, or if you want to, you can use real feathers and skip all the previous stages, which we'll discuss more in the Capeboard fans tutorial, or you could use cellophane cellophane feathers like I'll show you in the cardboard box fans tutorial. But the point of these fans is that I could put them in the recycling at the end of the project if I needed to. Just pop the sequins off and pop them in. I'm not going to immediately, but you know, things can happen, and I don't need to keep them forever. If you need to, pop the plates out so that they're flat, like I did, because mine have this beveled edge that it was hard to draw on. You might not. Yours might be fine. So skip that if it doesn't apply to you. Do if it does. Then next, flip your plate so the front is face down and you're working with the back. Take your ruler and find the center point of the paper plate and mark it with a dot. You might need to kind of put the ruler one way, draw the dot, put the other way, draw a dot, and kind of match them up with a little cross. To find it, or you might take more than one go, like I did with my first plate, because I eyeballed it at first and went, that's not the middle, maybe I should use my ruler, like I'm telling everyone else to. That's okay, just you need to find the middle of your plate. So once you have your center point, place the ruler across the plate and draw a line. Now, using your scissors, cut your plate in half and pop it back into shape. You might want to do that before you do that if it's easier, or after. It really doesn't necessarily make a difference. Then repeat that if you're making a second fan. So stage 6, decorate your plate. You may not want to if you want to leave it raw and ready, or you might want to paint or draw on your plate now and then add the sequins, gems or rhinestones later. It's really up to you. First, I drew on the plates with paint pens and then let them dry as directed. Next, because I wanted to cause problems on purpose, so I could troubleshoot them for you, I glued my sequins down, spread along the channel that I outlined in the opposite colour to the middle of my plate. This is probably better to do after constructing your plates, but you do it in the order that works for you, and I'll kind of explain why and what problems I caused later. You may want to seal your painted or drawn on plates at this stage by spreading PVA glue over them so that no smearing happens while putting them together. I did this while gluing on the sequins because I wanted to scratch into the paint, which is called sgraffito. Um, if you don't want to seal the whole plate and just the bit you've painted or drawn on, you might want to go around with a damp cloth or a paper towel and just gently like rub the glue off, or just use your finger and then wash your hands. And then leave them aside to dry for 24 hours. All right, stage 7. Okay, now you have all your feathers and your partially decorated plates. If you haven't already, decide what order you want your feathers to sit on your fans and divide your feathers into 7 or more or less feathers per fan. Then laying your first half of the plate, so you should have four of these at this point, face down, spread glue all over the back, then spread glue on each feathers paper straw, and place it one by one to paper plate. So just do like spread the glue on the like straw of feather 1, put it down, repeat that process until you have them fanned out across your plate. In the order that you want them, and at this point you can still change it if you change your mind, just add a bit more glue if you need to. Then get your second paper plate half and spread glue all over that. Then kind of line it up with the curve matching the curve and the straight edge matching the straight edge. Place it down and then like on top. What have I written there? Oh, okay, that's just a typo. I was confusing my brain. It's fine. I'm leaving this in because this is quick and dirty Burly summer camp tutorial, and we're teaching as if I'm teaching live. Okay, so then press it down over the top of your other plate and feathers, like the top layer of a sandwich, pressing down firmly with your fingers and making sure they line up neatly-ish. Doesn't have to be perfect. Then get your pegs and clip them together in between each feather and then along the straight edge at the bottom of your plate halves. Then set your first fan aside on your spare mat or plastic bag or tablecloth. Then repeat the process with your second fan if you're making 2. Leave to dry for 24 hours. I think that is the running theme here. Then stage 8, which is technically optional, but I mean, whatever you do, first you got to remove your pegs. So after they've dried for 24 hours, you may notice they've left some marks. You can either live with it because they're just practice fans, or hide the sins with more paint and sequins. I'll show you some alternatives in the other 2 fan tutorials to the pegs that I used in this one, but this tutorial is designed to mostly use things you're likely to already have in your home, or be able to get hold of really easily from a pound or nickel and dime store, supermarket or similar on a budget. Now, if you did decide to glue sequins on earlier, some of them may have gotten popped off or become loose. And I've written make instead of may there. Okay, let's do that again. I'm going to leave that bit in because I quite liked what I was saying before I knocked everything over. And like I say, this is as if it was live. Tech happens. And I fall over as much as I knock things over. So let's just rewind slightly. Now, if you did decide to glue sequins on earlier, some of them may have gotten popped off or become loose. So gently run your fingers over them and re-glue them one side at a time. If not, you can glue sequins onto one side of your plate and feathers if you want now. Set that aside and leave them to dry for 24 hours. PVA glue just takes 24 hours. That's the rules. I don't make them. Also, if it's humid, it might even take a little bit longer. Then repeat the process on the other side the following day. You can, if you have limited time, seal the sequins with PVA glue spread over them while re-gluing them or gluing them on for the first time, but you'll need to check in with them a few times before they dry to gently move them back into place, as they may float away on the glue if they aren't already firmly fixed and dry. Again, I left them on purpose as an example to help with troubleshooting tips, but yours will be way less messy than mine. And if not, that's okay too. These are your practice fans for fun events or to help design your first or next act fans while you save up for them. Otherwise, wait until they're dry and then seal them one side at a time. After sealing, set aside and wait for them to dry for 24 hours and, you know, repeat that. Repeat that on both sides. And then you will have beautiful paper plate fans. I love the noise that they make. And I like the tissue paper fans, feel dead nice. The napkin ones are okay. And here's what I mean about the floating. They might kind of move a bit. Also, depending on what you used, you might get a bit of a crackle effect happening with the PVA glue and the paint pens. I like it, so I'm leaving it and not trying to hide it. And these stripy lines, you can't really see them. You can see them if you're close to it, but not really. Like, you wouldn't from stage, you wouldn't from a class. It doesn't matter. Another thing that's optional that you might want to do is, if you didn't line your fans up the best, you might want to trim the edges, or you might want to like glue a bit of ribbon over them. But like I said, for the purposes of this experiment, I'm leaving it, and I did a pretty good job of lining them up. Not even going to notice the really tiny bit there that's a little bit wonky. Not when it's under your hand. And we'll come back to these later because I will show you some choreography with them, but that's not going to be during Burly Summer Camp 2026. I'll see you in the next tutorial or live. Bye, ta-ta for now.